This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
This is what your coffee order says about you. You either are someone that actually drinks coffee for function, like you're only drinking coffee because you need caffeine, you want coffee to be over quickly, and espresso allows you to consume a fuck ton of caffeine with minimal fuss and time. Or you're someone that says you're in a rush and like super fucking busy, but still stand around after ordering it. You don't actually like the taste of espresso, but you like looking like someone who drinks an espresso in front of other customers at the coffee shop. Like, oh, you're drinking a caramel latte, I'm drinking a fucking espresso. You either work in finance or the food and beverage industry and have recently been accused by a loved one of not opening up. You used to get lattes until someone made fun of the milk. Now you get americanos because they sound neutral. You don't actually like how watery it is, but you've already committed to the bit. Like an americano, but you're a pretentious motherfucker who knows the difference between a long black and an americano. You rehearse phone calls in your head before making them. This is basically comfort coffee because it's nice and warm and not strong because of the milk. This is the coffee that I personally get halfway through the day after I already had my black coffee from earlier, but I'm getting fucking hangry because it's halfway through the day, but I can't like stop working anymore. I need another coffee, but I've had another black coffee, I'm gonna fucking flip out, right? You don't like being perceived as someone who likes sweet drinks, and you like that this looks intense but doesn't taste like anything. If it takes you longer than 15 minutes to drink this, you are fucked because that paper straw is fucking disintegrating as we fucking speak. You used to drink lattes, but you switched to this because it sounded cooler and more European and more authoritative. And also you like taking pictures of the phone. You are either a former barista or currently dating one. You like to say that this drink tastes better, but you also can't really explain how. And you get unreasonably agitated when the cafe supposedly gets it wrong. And you also fucking hate the fact that I love flat white cortado and piccolo drinkers all in the same category because they're not the same thing. Yeah, I did that to rage bait you. I did that on purpose. You're probably a young woman in your 20s and you know that half the time you order this tastes like shit because the cafe uses the matcha syrup, but you take a picture of it anyway. And then proceed to spend the next half hour choking down this drink which tastes like milky grass. You also fantasize frequently about running off and starting your own bookstore cafe hybrid store, like a bookstore that has a cafe attached to it on site. You somehow are always multitasking some shit because you volunteered to help with some shit, but then you overextended yourself and are now multitasking some bullshit. You love asking the person behind the counter if it's a ceremonial grade matcha. Like, is this ceremonial grade? Like, you would actually be able to tell the difference. If you drink a black coffee with a dash of milk, then I think you're a fucking psychopath because this is not an americano, it's not a black coffee, and it's not a milky coffee. The milk does nothing. You hate the taste of coffee, actually, because the milk, like, it's not enough milk to, like, make it an actual different thing, like a latte or a cappuccino, so it doesn't taste like a creamy coffee, but also, you add just a splash of milk to, like, neutralize any of the coffee flavor if you actually drank your coffee black, right? So this is essentially a nothing drink. You might as well have ordered a water, because it doesn't taste like black coffee, right? Because you added milk to it, or an actual milky fucking drink, because there's too much fucking water in this coffee. Anytime I tried to order this or like drink this, it just feels like all of the ingredients of a coffee, but like deconstructed back into their separate forms put together, okay? Does that make sense to you? So like coffee beans, hot water, milk put together. Does that sound good to you? Don't think of it as a black coffee right now. Think of those like separate things together, because this is essentially a ton of hot water with like slightly caffeine with milk, okay? Like think about it. Like, you don't have, it's not coffee. If you had a tall hot glass of water and you just added a dash of milk to it, doesn't that sound fucking crazy to you, okay? Who is drinking that, huh? Doesn't that sound like an insane thing to do? Are you doing that?
By the way, if you're a small business or if you sell anything online, like your clothes, or if you make content, or even if you sell like services, like if you're a dog walker, any of those, basically you need to make a website, and the best way to do that is with today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is basically the least painful way to make a website that looks real and legitimate. And because this video is about coffee, as proof of concept for you, I used it to mock up a fake coffee company, and it took literally like five minutes to get like a rough site up and running. Squarespace's Blueprint AI means that the main layout is basically all done for you, and like now you just go in and you like edit the text and you add your own like images and it's done. Like, your site is up and running and it looks good and legitimate. You can set up a physical or digital store, take payments, sell subscriptions or digital content, and even date things behind a paywall if you're doing courses or memberships. You don't need any extra plugins or third-party apps. It's all already built into Squarespace. Squarespace also handles your domains, your checkout, your email signups, like all of the boring admin that you probably don't know how to do because you're a little person who's burnt out from your day job with a big dream of starting your own coffee company that does specialized coffee and is also a secondhand bookstore hybrid that also converts into a fucking writer's meetup space or like a creative space at night in like a gentrified part of town. Okay, let's say you do not have the skills, most likely, but you do need a site. So when you're ready to get started, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/crystal to save 10% off your first website or domain.
If you drink fraps, then you also don't like coffee, because this is not a coffee. This is a fucking coffee flavored milkshake, okay? You order this and you call this treating yourself, right? And you want to know why you call it this, because what other food or beverages do you know that people order when they're treating themselves? Dessert, like ice cream, or a fucking milkshake. And you know in your heart that your coffee is in the same category as these things. If you drink a flavored latte of some sort, so like vanilla syrup or like caramel syrup, then you also don't like coffee, because this is also not a coffee. But you're slightly more self-conscious about what other people are thinking about your drink order, because it's not socially acceptable to just have a fucking milkshake at the office at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? So this is like a more toned down way to still have a dessert for breakfast. You like to self-proclaim and self-identify as burnt out from your super busy schedule. That super busy schedule being leisurely strolling around town with your tote bag strung across one shoulder, and rooting around in there every time you need to get something and it's impossible to find things. Let me go around my book that I leave in here every day and is really heavy, but I don't leave it at home because I always think I'm gonna read it and then I fucking don't. Also, this is my unpopular opinion, but it is fucking crazy to me that oat milk is the default alternative milk choice, because in my opinion, right, which no one agrees with, I think that oat milk tastes fucking disgusting, and I will die on this hill. That shit is sour and it is the worst type of alternative milk. It tastes like, to me, oat milk tastes like if someone had regular milk and then burped and then spit it back out. That's what oat milk tastes like, okay? You're crazy. You're on a diet, but you don't want to say it out loud. You're on a diet, but you don't want to say it out loud. And also, you tried black coffee, but you realize you can't actually stomach black coffee, so now you're here. I am the only person in the world that uses soy milk, and I don't fucking care that it's unpopular. I know this one's really easy to shit on because soy milk. I don't give a because oat milk, as I said, tastes like shit to me, as I said. And you know what? Soy milk has the most protein out of all the plant milks. You know what doesn't have protein? Oat milk. And it tastes disgusting. Lose-lose. This is the standard cafe milk, and you're fine with it because you're not an argumentative person. And you want coffee to feel good and creamy, and you're actually a nice person and no one talks shit about you. It probably never occurred to you to like consider different types of milk, to be honest. Like this was either the default milk at whatever coffee shop you go to, or this is like legacy behavior where like either it's what you have at like your office or at home and you just kind of stuck with it and you never really thought about it again. You fully committed to branding your entire life with vaguely food-like scents. Like your body lotion smells like chocolate, or your wet wipes are coconut scented, and your shampoo smells like strawberries, and your hand soap smells like lemon. You bought this at a health food store and you started drinking it because it's like nut free, but it's also plant-based, but you also can't shake the fact that it tastes like wet cardboard. You drink this because you think that milk is a scam. You're kind of a little mean in your regular day life, but deep down, you know that you're a nice person who is just incredibly weary from their daily life, like a balding, 47-year-old middle manager in a white-collar industry in the body of a 20-something. You like to say that you enjoy and you like the ritual of making coffee, but mostly you like control. And you're also fucking unemployed because this shit takes all fucking morning. And if you order this at a cafe, then this is called I have fucking money to burn to slap down $5 to $10 on a fucking black coffee at a coffee shop. You liked the name of this because it sounded niche and European, but you didn't actually know what it was, and then when it arrived, you were visibly surprised by how small it was. You are blithely unaware that baristas and coffee snobs everywhere hate you and that there's no such thing as an iced cappuccino, but you know there is. You've seen it. You've had it. It's on the menu. Or you don't care. Or it's just not something that matters to you, which I respect. You wanted hot chocolate but didn't want to admit that out loud. And you get defensive if anyone calls this a beginner drink. If you drink cold brew, then you're a pretentious asshole. But I can't fucking lie, I drink this shit. It fucking rules. It's the best drink, honestly. It's like an iced americano, but it doesn't taste like bean water. In my opinion, right? This, again, super subjective fucking video that I clearly have a lot of fucking opinions on, but the upgrade from like a hot americano is a filter coffee, and then the upgrade of an iced americano is a cold brew. Your entire personality trait is telling people how you don't drink coffee, you drink tea. I'm just kidding, this one is a huge generalization, but also, honestly, the tea one is too fucking complicated for me to like write out each one. Clearly I drink coffee, but also I'm Chinese, so I can be a pontificating asshole about tea as well. When I first moved to London and ordered tea, I was like with a girl and she was like, "Ooh, you're becoming one of us, aren't you?" And it took all of my willpower to not crash the fuck out right there and then. You just like the taste of coffee. But you've had too fucking much of it today, and if you have any more, then you'll start hearing colors. So you're having decaf. You started drinking these at work to avoid going home. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video and you want to check out what your blank means, then you can check out this playlist, or you should check out this video that YouTube thinks you should watch next.